Now we can do another logical reasoning question on the LSAT. We're using test number 71, which was administered in December 2013 and is available from the Law School Admission Council at lsac.org. We're going to the second logical reasoning section, which was published as section 3 in this booklet. We're going to question 17, and as usual we're reading the question first because we don't know why we're reading the passage until we read the question. The science teacher's statements provide the most support for which of the following? In this question, the most important word for me is statements. It means that we're going to have several statements and we have to justify our answer by looking at least two of those statements and connecting them up. If I read it over quickly, it says, in any nation, a flourishing national scientific community is essential to a successful economy. For such a community to flourish requires that many young people become excited enough about science so that they resolve to become professional scientists. Good communication between scientists and the public is necessary to spark that excitement. So I hear that little tick-tock, and it reminds me that maybe this is a good example of our strategy, which is the exhausted element strategy. We can map out the argument if we want to, but we don't have to use the exhausted element strategy. I realize that it's going to be easy to map because the passage says essential to in line 2, it says requires in line 4, and it says necessary in the second last line. So I should be able to draw a very hard and fast series of relationships. It says in any nation, a flourishing national scientific community is essential to a successful economy. So if we have a successful economy, we must have a flourishing scientific community because they just said that's essential. For such a community to flourish requires that many young people become excited enough about scientists so that they resolve to become professional scientists. So for this to happen, we need young people to become excited. In the last statement, good communication between scientists and the public is necessary to spark that excitement. So if we have that excitement, we need good communication. You should be able to see the exhausted element. Which element has been used twice? Something that has connections twice. Well, the flourishing scientific community has an arrow coming in and an arrow going out. That's twice. The excited young people has an arrow going in, an arrow going out. That's twice. Those elements are exhausted. Why do we need them? I think we're looking for the first element, the successful economy, and the last element, which is the good communications, because they only have one thing mentioned and we are going to connect them up. Now let's look at our answers. It says answer A is about excited young people. Answer B is about the community flourishing and excited young people. Answer D is about excited young people again. Those are the exhausted elements. Excited young people showed up in 3 answers. That's exhausted. Flourishing scientific community showed up in 1 of those answers. That's also exhausted. We're looking for the 2 that need to be connected up. Look at answer C. No nation can have a successful economy unless at some point scientists have communicated well to the public. There's our successful economy. There's our good communication. It looks like our answer. But let's check E. An essential component of success in any scientific endeavor is good communication between the scientist involved in that endeavor and the public. Looks close, but if you read it carefully, it's talking about success in any scientific endeavor, and that's not necessarily the same as a successful economy, which is what answer C is asking us to connect up. But the nerds explained answer C in an upside down backwards way, didn't they? They just said no nation can have a successful economy unless it has communication. That's confusing. No successful economy unless communication. That no, cross it out. Then unless, cross it out. Then draw an arrow between successful economy and communication. It means the same thing, and it's not talking upside down and backwards. A lot of people picked answer A. It's got several problems. In terms of the logic, what does answer A says? It says if scientists communicate with the public, many young people will become excited enough about scientists to resolve to become professional scientists. That's starting with the good communication and ending up with the excited young people. That's going backwards in our line of inference. It's what we call the reciprocity trap. But look at the statements. The statement in the third line is good communication between scientists and the public is necessary to spark that excitement. And we had both of those elements in that third sentence, and so we didn't need the first and second statements because we're confused and we didn't pick a right answer on a statements question. But it's also got some other strategies, and that says, why do we want to pick an answer about excited young people on the LSAT? I thought this was supposed to be a boring, flat, uninteresting, unemotional answer. And then if we look at answer A again, it says if scientists communicate, and the answer begins with people, scientists, as the subject of the answer, and we've made that into a grammar rule because the LSAT is boring and flat and uninteresting and unemotional. And so we avoid answers that begin with people because that's too interesting. So we picked the boring answer C that's upside down and backwards, but it's got the two elements we were looking for. The other elements were exhausted. We didn't need them. Testing for the public. Nonprofit since 1985. Nobody makes things easier.